A woman drinks water to win a gaming console. This is what happened to her brain. January 2007, Sacramento, California. A local radio station announces a contest. The prize? A Nintendo Wii gaming console, one of the hottest items of the year, nearly impossible to find in stores. The challenge? Drink as much water as you can, without using the bathroom. The last person to give up wins. They called it Hold Your Wii for a Wii. Approximately 18 contestants showed up that morning, ready to compete. Among them was JS, a 28-year-old woman, a mother of 3, previously healthy. She wanted to win that Wii for her children. The contest began at 9 a.m., bottles of water lined up on tables. The rules were simple. Drink, don't urinate. Last one standing takes home the prize. JS started strong, bottle after bottle. The other contestants dropped out one by one. Too uncomfortable, too full. But JS kept going. She was determined. By noon, she had consumed an enormous volume of water, 5 liters, in just 3 hours, without a single bathroom break. But this fun contest to win a gaming console would turn fatal in just 5 hours. JS, a 28-year-old woman, presenting to the emergency room with severe headache, nausea and vomiting, and altered mental status. Before leaving the radio station, she told her colleagues something haunting. "My head hurts," she said. "They keep telling me it's the water." Nausea, from the Latin nausea, meaning seasickness, from nos, meaning ship. But JS hadn't been on a ship. She had been drinking water, lots of it. Her headache was severe, pounding, unrelenting, not like any headache she had experienced before. Then came the vomiting, forceful, persistent. Her mental status began to change. Confusion, disorientation. She couldn't think clearly. Something was catastrophically wrong. Her brain was under siege, and the clock was ticking. JS arrived at the hospital emergency department in the early afternoon. The medical team immediately recognized the severity of her condition. Severe headache, vomiting, altered consciousness. This triad of symptoms signaled something critical happening inside her skull. The emergency physicians moved quickly. IV access established. Vital signs monitored. Oxygen administered. Could they identify and reverse what was killing her in time? For a brief moment, there seemed to be hope. JS appeared to stabilize. Her vital signs held steady. The medical team worked through their protocols, blood draws, imaging studies, supportive care. They were fighting against time, against an enemy they hadn't yet identified. But then the reversal came. Sudden, devastating. Her condition deteriorated rapidly. Her consciousness faded. Her breathing became erratic. Despite every intervention, despite the expertise of the emergency team, they were losing her. The cascade had begun, and nothing could stop it now. Within hours of arriving, she was gone. Death. In a hospital, with doctors present, after drinking water. How does this happen? Let's go back. Let's understand who JS was and what led to this moment. JS was a previously healthy mother of 3 children. No chronic illnesses, no medications, a normal life. That morning in January 2007, she saw an opportunity. The Nintendo Wii was the must-have gift. Stores couldn't keep them in stock. Here was a chance to win one. The contest seemed harmless enough. Water is essential for life. We're told to stay hydrated, 8 glasses a day, more if you exercise. How could water be dangerous? JS participated in the Hold Your Wii for a Wii contest at a Sacramento radio station. The format was straightforward, but extreme. Drink as much water as possible without urinating. The contest went on for hours, 5 liters of water, in just 3 hours. To put that in perspective, that's about 2 gallons, nearly 16 standard water bottles, without a single bathroom break. The contest rules specifically forbade urination. You had to hold it. Hold your Wii. She told colleagues, "My head hurts. They keep telling me it's the water." But how could pure water kill a healthy mother in just hours? There's more to this story. If you want to understand how the human body works, what can go wrong, and how to protect yourself,
hit subscribe. But first, let's solve the mystery. A diagnosis is made. But which diagnosis? JS presented with headache, vomiting, and altered consciousness. This triad could indicate several dangerous conditions.
Let's consider the possibilities. First possibility, viral meningitis. Meningo, from the Greek meninx, meaning membrane, referring to the protective layers around the brain and spinal cord. Itis, meaning inflammation. Inflammation of the brain membranes. Viral meningitis classically presents with headache, vomiting, and altered consciousness. The timing fits. Or does it? Viral meningitis typically takes days to develop. It comes with fever. It comes with nuchal rigidity, a stiff neck. JS had no fever, no stiff neck, and her symptom onset was temporarily locked to her water intake. 3 hours from contest start to severe symptoms. Meningitis doesn't work that fast. Ruled out. Second possibility, migraine with aura. Severe headache with nausea in a young woman. Migraines are common. They can be debilitating. But migraines don't typically progress to death. Not in hours. Not without other factors. Migraines often come with photophobia, sensitivity to light, specific triggers, stress, foods, hormones. JS's trigger was massive water intake. That's not a typical migraine trigger, and the rapid progression to death doesn't fit the pattern. Ruled out. Third possibility, subarachnoid hemorrhage, a bleed in the space between the brain and its protective membranes. Subarachnoid hemorrhage presents with sudden, severe headache. Patients describe it as the worst headache of my life. Vomiting follows. Rapid deterioration can occur. This seems plausible. But subarachnoid hemorrhage usually results from a ruptured aneurysm, a weakened bulge in a blood vessel wall. JS had no known history of aneurysms, and when the autopsy was performed, there was no hemorrhage found, no bleeding. Instead, the pathologist found something else: cerebral edema, brain swelling, severe and diffuse. Ruled out. The timescale provides a critical clue. Symptom onset within 3 hours of massive water intake. Death within 5 hours of leaving the contest. This rapid timeline points to an acute electrolyte crisis. Not infection, which takes days. Not toxin accumulation, which takes hours to days. Not a structural lesion, which has variable timelines. This was acute. This was metabolic. This was about the balance of salts in her blood. None of these fit the timeline. Something else was destroying her brain from within. To understand what killed JS, we need to look back in history. Back to the scientists who uncovered the fundamental laws governing water and salt in the human body. The 1730s, Leiden, Netherlands. Herman Boerhaave, a Dutch physician and professor, documented some of the earliest cases of water intoxication. People drinking excessive amounts of water and becoming ill. But the mechanism remained mysterious for another century and a half. London, 1896. Ernest Starling, a British physiologist, published his groundbreaking work on capillary fluid dynamics. Starling discovered the forces that determine whether water stays in blood vessels or leaks into tissues. Hydrostatic pressure pushing water out, oncotic pressure pulling water in. These forces balance at every capillary in your body, every moment. The 1880s, Netherlands again. Jacobus van 't Hoff, a Dutch physical chemist, discovered the laws of osmotic pressure. He showed mathematically how dissolved particles create a force that draws water across membranes. The concentration of dissolved substances determines where water flows. High concentration on one side of a membrane pulls water toward it, like gravity pulling water downhill, but at the molecular level. This discovery was so fundamental, so revolutionary, that Van 't Hoff won the first Nobel Prize in Chemistry in 1901. Then came 1912. Jacques Loeb, working at the Rockefeller Institute, made a crucial discovery. Sodium concentration determines cellular water distribution. Sodium is the primary dissolved particle in the fluid surrounding your cells. Its concentration outside the cell versus inside the cell determines whether water flows in or out. Your cells have sodium-potassium ATPase pumps embedded in their membranes, molecular machines. These pumps consume energy, ATP, to move sodium out of cells and potassium in, maintaining the concentration gradient. In your brain, these pumps consume 20 to 40% of all ATP produced, nearly half of your brain's energy budget, just to maintain ion gradients. When external sodium concentration drops, the pumps cannot compensate fast enough. Water floods into cells, following Van Hoff's osmotic law. This Nobel Prize-winning science would explain how water became a weapon. Back to JS in the emergency room. The autopsy results came back. The diagnosis was confirmed: acute hyponatremia with fatal cerebral edema. Hypo meaning low, nature from the Latin natrium meaning sodium, emia meaning presence in blood, low sodium presence in blood. Her post-mortem serum sodium measured 113 milliequivalents per liter. Normal is 135 to 145. She was severely, critically low. Here's what happened at the cellular level. 5 liters of water over 3 hours. Pure water, no electrolytes, no sodium. This massive volume of water entered her bloodstream through her intestines. Normally, your kidneys would respond by increasing urine production. Healthy kidneys can excrete approximately 800 to 1,000 milliliters of water per hour, maximum capacity. But the contest forbade urination. JS couldn't eliminate the excess water. It had nowhere to go but into her bloodstream. As the water diluted her blood, her serum sodium concentration plummeted, below 120, then lower, down to 113. This created a severe osmotic gradient between the inside and outside of her cells. Think of it like this. Normally, the fluid outside your brain cells has a higher concentration of dissolved sodium than pure water. But when JS's blood became diluted with all that water, the concentration outside her cells became lower than the concentration inside her cells. Van Hoff's osmotic law kicked in. Water follows concentration gradients. Water moved from the diluted blood plasma across the blood-brain barrier into her brain cells. The water crossed through specialized channels called aquaporin 4. Aqua, meaning water, porin, from pore, meaning a tiny opening. Water pores, molecular gates that allow water to flow into neurons and glial cells, the support cells of the brain. As water flooded into her brain cells, they swelled. Intracellular edema. Brain cells expanding like water balloons. But here's the critical problem. Your brain sits inside a rigid skull, bone, unyielding, no room to expand. As the brain swells, pressure builds, intracranial pressure. Normal intracranial pressure is around 7 to 15 millimeters of mercury. JS's intracranial pressure exceeded 20, then higher, dangerously high. The swollen brain had nowhere to go, so it began to herniate, to push through the only openings available in the skull. Uncal herniation, where the uncus of the temporal lobe pushes down through the tentorial notch. Tonsillar herniation, where the cerebellar tonsils push down through the foramen magnum, the hole at the base of the skull where the spinal cord connects. These herniations compressed her brainstem. The brainstem contains the respiratory centers, the clusters of neurons that automatically control breathing. Inhale, exhale. Every breath you take without thinking about it. Those centers were crushed by the herniated brain tissue. Respiratory arrest followed. JS stopped breathing. Her heart, deprived of oxygen, stopped beating. Death occurred within 5 hours of leaving the contest. Sacramento, California, 2007. The autopsy confirmed diffuse cerebral edema with uncal and tonsillar herniation. No treatment could reverse the cascade once herniation began. JS died because she drank too much water too fast. The contest created a perfect storm of conditions: massive water intake, suppressed renal excretion because urination was forbidden, dilution of serum sodium, osmotic gradient driving water into brain cells, cerebral edema, rising intracranial pressure, herniation, compression of vital brainstem structures, death, water intoxication, fatal. But here's what you need to know to protect yourself. First, drink to thirst, not to arbitrary volume targets. Your body has an exquisitely sensitive thirst mechanism. It tells you when you need water. Trust it. The 8 glasses a day rule is a myth. Your water needs depend on your activity level, your environment, your individual physiology. Drink when you're thirsty. That's enough. Second, understand your kidneys' limits. Healthy kidneys can excrete approximately 800 to 1,000 milliliters of water per hour. Maximum. If you drink more than that without replacing electrolytes, you risk diluting your blood sodium. Be especially careful during endurance exercise, marathons, triathlons, long hikes. If you're replacing more than 1 liter of fluid per hour, use electrolyte solutions, not pure water. Sports drinks, electrolyte tablets. Sodium helps retain the proper concentration in your blood. Third, recognize the warning signs of hyponatremia. Headache plus nausea plus confusion after drinking large volumes of water. These 3 together require immediate emergency evaluation. Hyponatremia can progress rapidly, minutes to hours. Early recognition saves lives. Fourth, never participate in water drinking contests. Ever. Competitive drinking of any fluid suppresses the body's protective urge to stop. You override your natural limits. You push past what's safe. The radio station that held the Hold Your Wii for a Wii contest faced lawsuits. Multiple DJs were fired. The station settled with JS's family, but that doesn't bring her back. Water is essential for life. But like anything essential, balance matters. Too little water leads to dehydration. Too much leads to hyponatremia. Your body maintains this balance through complex systems. Thirst drives intake. Kidneys regulate excretion. Sodium concentration stays stable until you overwhelm the system. JS wanted to win a gaming console for her children. A mother's love translated into a tragic miscalculation. She didn't know the danger. The radio station didn't warn the contestants adequately. What seemed like harmless fun became a fatal experiment in osmotic pressure. The science is clear. The mechanism is understood. Van 't Hoff's osmotic law, Starling's capillary forces, Loeb's sodium discovery, all operating exactly as the pioneers described over a century ago. The human body follows physical laws. When those laws are violated, the body pays the price. Thank you for watching. Take care of yourself and be well.